Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm Marcus, co-founder at M2A. We've been going since about 2016 and working mostly in live sports distribution. That's our sort of forte, and we've built a number of products I'll go into in a minute, and we're going to go into a deep dive into how we're transitioning from sports through different sort of verticals and looking at news, which is our sort of target market, and the differences that, you know, that the challenges that's bringing to the video arena. So it's a bit of an overview of our products here. We've been working with the likes of DAZN and ATP and Universal Tennis, rugby, all these sort of fairly high tier sports for a number of years now, doing IP distribution, using Media Connect and doing direct to consumer using Media Live, Media Package, those sort of things. We're literally 35, probably 40,000 live events per year now, billions of hours watched by consumers. We have a big direct-to-consumer B2B workflow as well, so distributing into broadcasters and syndicating to all sorts of platforms. So that's where that's us. That's what we do. We've recently opened an office in Portland as well, so hence why I'm here and come to Portland a couple of times a year now. So we're growing out our operations, sales, and soon to be engineering functions in Portland. So watch this space on that. Just a quick overview of our products. We've got M2A Connect, which is a wrapper around AWS Media Connect. We add a few functions on top of what you get out of the box, and then similar with Media Live, our direct-to-consumer, using all the great features of Media Live, but then enhancing and building around where we can, and then our capture product, which we're going to talk mostly about today in more detail. So when you start thinking about what you do for sports, you know, the sports sort of genre and what's important for them, even when you look at different sports, you're up against, you know, a differing set of challenges. So if you think about soccer, or we call it football, but soccer is, you know, it's pretty easy to schedule. You know when it's going to start. You know, take a postponement or a rain delay rarely happens. You know when the half time is going to be. Give or take a few minutes. It's easy. When you start thinking about boxing, then that's more challenging. You never know when the fighter's going to come on. It can go on for 10 hours. What do you do with the catch up on that? You know, there's more challenges there. Tennis, that's the worst one, to be honest. You know, we have so many nightmares with tennis, just around scheduling. Rain delays, they move the courts at the last minute. We've got the feed coming from the court where they were and not where they are, and you know, there's all sorts of challenges with the routing and getting the feeds in with tennis. And then recently we've started getting into esports. Again, that's really brought a whole new set of challenges again. So that's things that we haven't seen with traditional sports. So where we may see a few dozen takers for high value sports content, we're now seeing hundreds of takers for esports. Bedroom restreamers doing commentary, going out to social, you know, literally change the game in terms of the number of takers that we have to support with our products. And then what's interesting now is we're starting to look at news and the slightly different but adjacent vertical there, and then what new challenges will that bring. So of course all the benefits of the cloud and you know, the media services and our products, they're pretty much the same. Of course, you know, those local news or national news or those news organisations, they want the same things, and you know, bunch of those there. There's nothing new. Any broadcaster will want those, but what are the new and interesting things that they will want? And what's a workflow that we would need to support for a news organisation? So there's many different variants of this, but you know, you can see, you know, getting an OB feed in through Media Connect, doing a standard direct-to-consumer type workflow at the bottom. You might have something coming from on-prem over a direct connect through Media Connect. You've got our capture workflow on the second line down there, you know, and then clipping, which is what I'm going to talk about in a sec. And then you've got all these various different workflows that are very similar to our sports ones, but they're just ever so slightly different for news. So we're just seeing how we can work with the news orgs to, you know, deliver on what they need. So two of the main things that they've told us, that we're doing a trial with a US broadcaster, and the two things that they've called out that are different to what we do already for all these other 40,000 events are simplicity. Because it's not scheduled, you need to be able to, you know, get this content live as quickly as possible. They don't know when breaking news is going to happen, so they really need the operators to get the feeds live with the minimal fuss whatsoever. And it's not just lighting up one feed. You know, as we can see here, it might be pushing out to YouTube, pushing to Akamai for distribute through their owned and operated platform. It could be syndicating to one of their other local offices. You know, a variety of all these different things. So the challenge we've been tasked with is automate all that lot for us, and we want a push of a button. We don't want to, you know, have to think about all this stuff. We just want it live as quickly as possible. And then the quickly as possible thing is a challenge. Sometimes with the cloud, you have unpredictable sort of turnaround times with those resources coming up. So that's another challenge that we're looking to solve for them. So so I'm going to switch to my little present demo now, and if I can figure out how to use the browser, give me a second. Right. So if you imagine that the architecture diagram that we had before, and then what this is showing is what we've set up for the trial for this US broadcaster. We've got a stream deck down at the bottom there, which I've just paused it. They asked for a one-click go live with all that stuff. So we've got a stream deck set there. You see one of my guys pressing the button. Literally straight away provisioning the infrastructure that we just saw in our product. So he's pressed the 1+1 resilient setup there. So you get your 2 paths, get the feed coming in, and literally live in, you know, a small number of seconds. Just the example that we've done, this is a single-legged one, another feed coming in, same thing again. We've got our source coming in, we've got our destinations pre-configured, that's live as well. And then the third one, this is his straight to YouTube pipeline. So again, just click that, create those resources dynamically in the background, and then you're up and running to YouTube. So so we think that meets their needs in terms of simplicity and, you know, automating everything that we can for them. And you still have the option to go in there and add extra takers, extra outputs, that sort of stuff. So that's just part of our product set at that point. Just wait for this to go on a little bit. you could all this is just going through all the infrastructure and the profiles that have been set up in the background. That's all dynamically provisioned. Just give me a second here. So here we go. This is the YouTube template, pushing via Media Live for this one. So there's the Media Live. If you needed to dive into that, I don't think the news operator is going to be doing that, but that's for the second line support if they need it. And then in a second, we're going to go to our consoles for both the sort of media operators and the broadcast engineers if they need to get in there as well. All the infrastructure's coming up. I don't know if you can quite see that. There we go. So everything should go green on the console in a second, but literally all the operator had to do was click that one button. And there we go. It's live on YouTube. And we borrowed some BBC News for the purposes of this. Mike?
Marcus, are the sources, can I think of them, you've kind of thank you. You've manually registered the encoders, so you know, and these are like encoders in a news station, is that the way to think of it?
That's the primary example that we're dealing with at the moment, but in theory it could come straight from a truck as well. That's, you know, if you know, we publish those points to them, but the primary use case is from their facility. You know,
okay, so the operator would need, like, if an encoder in a truck, they need to enter an IP address and whatever info into your system, and then it makes that connection. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, but
okay.
For the sort of standard use case, most of the broadcasts have Elemental on-prem, and we've sort of lined those up.
Cool.
So that's all sort of started at the click of the button there.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
So yeah, there we go. That's the sort of live workflow up and running, and going to get into capture now. So just showing you the monitoring and everything that comes up with the product. You get all your CloudWatch metrics shown, and going to pause it there in a second. Oh, it's going to show the multi-viewer as well. So there's a way to get all your feeds onto a grid. Okay. Right, so I'm going to pause that there, and then, so the other thing that we've been looking at is, so they've got the live news going out to all those different platforms, but the other primary use case that we've been asked to solve is clipping. We need to be able to clip that stuff up for the next broadcast, or we need to archive that as well, or we need to push that to post-production for other use cases, or we need to put it onto a VOD platform. So they're like, okay, we want all this dynamically provisioned infrastructure as quickly as you can get it, but we need to record it and we need to clip it as well. So okay, so alongside the Media Connects, we take an SRT out of the Media Connects and we write that directly to S3 using a proprietary component that we've built, and that's going to put segments into S3. They're not transcoded at all. They're as it arrives from the source. Once you get all those segments into S3, well, you need to do something with them once they're there. So we have an export function which would then assemble them back to a transport stream based on time. So we can do that in a rough cut sort of way. So these segments are anywhere between a few seconds or a few minutes. So then a rough cut would just be like, okay, this segment to that segment, put them all together. There you go. You've got your transport stream back. That's okay for a lot of use cases, but the challenge was frame accuracy. So how do we get frame accurate files coming out the other side? So so we've built a UI to allow those operators, journos, whoever's running the system to be able to go in and select the individual frames and set up the exports to exactly what they need to receive as files. So you can see there that they're going to put the metadata in. They'll select the type of presets that they need. They can basically use a timeline and assemble an EDL. And what we do is we get all those transport stream segments, put them together, and we fire it off to media convert and do an accelerated transcode and deliver those to wherever they need to go. So, I'm just going to show the rest of that now. So yeah, the operator there, I thought I turned it off. There's the operator putting in the job details. You can see the feed coming through. They can put content IDs in, so it's identified in the downstream systems. You select your presets, whether it's 1 rendition, 10 renditions that you need. You can put associated metadata with your the clip that you're creating. So here's the editing features at the bottom. So you've got your timeline, and you can go in and you mark your ins and your outs, and build up a clip list, which is then submitted off to transcode. So you can see the operator here finding the correct frame for the clip. First segment done, second segment done, and then you can have a bunch of sort of ads or pre-rolls or whatever you need, and you can drop those in as well, and then you send it off, and it's via an accelerated transcode. It's all done. So you can see they're finding the last frame there and then doing a manual edit of what's required. There's also a compliance editing feature to be able to take out particular words or scenes that are, perhaps inappropriate or whatever. So this is what's been shown here. So there's a real need for sort of frame accurate editing from the content that has just arrived. So, so frame accuracy in the browser is a real challenge that we've had to solve. So just wanted to dig into that a little bit. So if I just flip back to here, so you can imagine, if I can go back to. So you can imagine along the top, there's the transport stream going in, might be 20, 30 megabits, whatever it is, and that's going into S3. That's got its embedded time code in it. And then we're using that same feed through your Media Live, Media Package to create the proxy that you see in the console. Can't show you 30 megabit thing, you can't put it through a web player, so you need your proxy. And then you get all your ABR segments coming through the packager. So then the challenge is, how does the player know exactly to the frame that the user's looking at, so that you can then instruct the back end to actually go and transcode to that frame. And you need to be able to handle different frame rates, so 2997, 25, 24, whatever it is that's coming in. So it needs to be handle all those variances as well. So we found that fairly challenging to begin with. So we went through the options. What have we got? So in the manifest, we've obviously got the program date time, first one. Unfortunately, that's, it's great for ABR. You can do all your ABR stuff with it, but it did not meet the needs with the frame accurate trimming. At the box level within the segments themselves, then okay, it's directly, it's much closer. We could get a much more accurate time code at that point, but it's still not consistent enough, and still without the accuracy that we need. So then the obvious choice is to look at pick timing. So, but how do you get hold of that in the browser? So that's really where we've ended up. So obviously much more complex to parse out in the browser, and that's the challenge that the developers had to, or the team had to solve. So the colours aren't coming through, but hopefully you can make it out. So what the guys have done is they've built a custom JavaScript parser which takes the bit stream and demuxes it, takes the stream, pulls out the pick timing, and assembles a text track before it goes into the media, the MSE in the browser. And by doing this, we were able to get the perfect extraction of the time code from the separate source and relate it back to that original MES. So that data is then exposed to the front end and to the workflow, and then we can get all that beautifully clipped content coming out the other side. And then obviously looking at where we can go with our capture product from here. So we're looking to overlay that textual data automatically using recognition and other AI tools. Look at transcribe to automatically do the subs and pull out the additional data that way. And also an obvious one that we're looking at next is the use of SCSI markers for driving the clipping process. So that's overlaying them on the console, still allowing the editor to get full control over what's going on, but just exposing all that data to them. So there we go. That's what we wanted to show. Oh, there is one final bit of the demo here. Obviously, once you have finished all your work, you need to tear everything down so you don't leave everything on. So give it a second to go through. Maybe I'll get forward. So coming back to our Stream Deck, we have a nuke button. Press the nuke button, and then everything gets pulled down and turned off. So that's how we're trying to adapt our tool set for the news vertical. That's our challenge for this year that we've set ourselves. So there we go. Happy to take any questions.
Let's go ahead and use the mic for questions.
Thank you. So I'd imagine the majority of your customers are coming from on-prem workflows where they're used to touching the equipment, touching the gear, touching the cables. What's been like a common complaint or challenge from the customers as far as moving workflows into the cloud?
So speed of deployment is in terms of getting those resources live. Breaking news has got to be sub 1 minute is what we've been told. That's a challenge. Just keeping it really simple for the operators as well. You know, we can't overburden them with all this, you know, new tech. It's got to be simple, more simple than what it was before. Cost, of course, is the other one. So, you know, we can't, you know, it's going to be more flexible. We're going to give them better value add, but, you know, we certainly can't do that at a cost point that's just, you know, a different ballpark.
Do you find that CapEx versus OpEx costs to align with each other? Or do customers have a problem, like, does OpEx end up costing more from a customer standpoint?
So there has been a bit of a shift back to, you know, talking about our sports customers now. They are starting to look at, you know, going in reverse and going off cloud, or looking at hybrid workflows because of the amount of variability and unpredictability with cloud costs. You know, we do manage that as best we can with what we've got, and you know, optimizing it, you know, all the way. But you know, with flexibility and the use of the cloud, you know, the cost can spiral as you know, as we're doing those 40,000 events. It's going to cost to do that. I can see Mike's got the.
Yeah, Marcus, thank you for presenting. I guess, so you're working with a U.S. broadcaster in this. Typically, like if news breaks in Chicago in traditional sense, and everybody in the country wants to see that, they're gonna like fire that up and find space on a satellite, send it in. They gotta like call and coordinate. It's gonna be on this channel, like a lot of voice or email communication, just to kind of get everything coordinated so people can kind of capture that. Is it that the flexibility of the cloud that's the big benefit, or are there other benefits? What does the customer see in going this direction?
Yeah, so that's a real good question, and one of the next stages of our trial with them is to be able to take that feed that's coming in, you know, Chicago or wherever, and then have those preset options to share it to, you know, West Coast, East Coast, different territories, share it to all my affiliates or a subset, and we'll have all those pre-canned for them, and they can just have the simple, don't know if it'll be one click, but it'll be a few, you know, very small number of clicks to say, right, okay, here's my breaking news, and it's going to go to this lot, this group, and we'll manage those groups, and it'll all be mostly be through Media Connect's sort of account to account sort of entitlements or feeds, in, you know, the lowest latency way as possible. And then each of those local stations, wherever they are, they'll get their feed coming in. So you won't need to use the satellite, and capacity shouldn't be an issue. So yeah.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Oh, we have one over here.
Give me a second. Okay. This. Okay, not a question, but maybe a suggestion. Did you look at Videolan running in the browser? Because they have a WebAssembly version, and Videolan, so aka VLC, they can access the ACI timecodes. So is this something that you looked at for, you know, simplifying? I mean, I guess now you implemented it, maybe it's too late. I appreciate the effort, but I mean, maybe there is a kind of a different avenue for, you know, previewing this in the browser.
It's something I can take back to the team. I'm not sure if they looked at that. They did research it for a long time. You know, perhaps there was a interrupt thing with our tools or getting, you know, the data out again. But, you know, if there is something out there and you guys know, then, you know, we'll take a look at that. So thanks. But you know, my philosophy with these things is you build what you need, and then if there's something out there, an open source tool or whatever, great. You know, I'm happy to put our work to one side and share it, and then bring in something else. But
On that same note, with Streaming Video Technology Alliance, SVTA group, we run a project called Common Media Library, and that timecode parser in JavaScript would be really nice to open source. Any thoughts on that?
I thought that would come as a question, and I think we're prepared to do that, but I know my guys would want to get it to a certain. This hasn't been launched into production yet, so I think as soon as we get to that stage, I think we would be looking to open source.
The Common Media Library might be the house for it because it's protected by SVTA. It's all about components for players, MSC based, doing things like this, things that are spec based. We don't put stuff in there that's not spec based. So, you know, box parsers, things like that for sure.
Okay.
So come talk to me after when we can figure that out.
I'll feed that back to my team. I'm sure they'll be happy to contribute. Yeah, you know, I think with the other mechanisms that are showed there, the box and the manifest, you can get within a frame or two, you know, depending on. But yeah, that just wasn't good enough for our particular use cases, and yeah, hence the
I think
effort.
it unlocks another. There's customers that want common playback times, right? They're like, everybody's seeing the same frame of video at the same wall clock time. Yeah. And peak timing is like, a lot of people look at that as like, well, if we can just use time code is the thing. Yeah, it's I think there's like something there. I really think there's something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know.
Hey, well, I'm a little bit of an outsider here, but I'm kind of curious. I heard you mention like, you know, doing like ADR. I've heard you, and then I heard you mention the generating subtitles using AI. What is this is probably more of a AWS question, but I'm curious, what's the state of the technology that will do like the speech-to-speech type of AI language, like translation, you know, where you can have like a almost real-time sort of...
real-time translation?
Yeah.
Interesting question. I don't know. We've got enough people from AWS here. I don't know if someone else wants to answer that.
Because like sometimes I'll just have, you know, I'll take, or even taking the subtitles and you paste that into a text-to-speech engine, and then it's like, what? I just had to copy and paste something to make it, but it sounds great, and this is like accurate. So it seems like just skipping a step and having a service to do, you know.
So real time.
Or near real time, yeah.
but converting the spoken text, the live speech into text
to audio,
and then translate it and then back to audio.
I think even Meta has an AI model that does speech to speech where it's like it's so like separate from an LLM. It's some weird newer sort of thing, and so I'm just kind of curious if you've had interest in that. And
well, I'm interested in it, definitely. We haven't played with that yet.
And it seems like for news, that's like something that would be very useful, you know?
And I think that's kind of like where you know, maybe getting the content into the cloud is not a particularly natural step, or, you know, there's a lot of benefits, you know, just in terms of doing your standard workflows, but it opens the door to stuff like this, right? So that's really why we want to get them on this journey. So it's a great one. I'll take that back as well. So.
Thank you so much, Marcus. Great presentation.